Welcome, my loves. Today's topic is the oracle of truth and nature. And how does the oracle within me express herself in relationships? So, we're going to go deep into the nature of your oracle, how to embody your oracle, how does the oracle move and navigate relationships. Why is it that at times it feels like our oracle can't express itself or we suppress it? What is the trauma behind that? And the masculine and feminine poles of relationships. So we'll go into all of this. This is a really, really exciting topic for me, and I'm recording this right now on the new moon. So it feels immensely timely. Before that, I want to invite you into my 9-month container, because if I put it at the end, I probably forget about it, and I don't want to forget about it because it's really, really vital. That's the actual work, right? The videos are beautiful, but us coming together is the actual freaking work. So this is going to be a 9-month mastermind in which we will look at everything in your field that is alive, and in that eliminate, transmutate, and heal all that is distorted, that is only alive in your field because you're feeding it, or it's being kept alive by being looped around like trauma, shadows, all of this. So we will scan that and eliminate this, transmutate this, or at least show you the most stable foundation you can have, so you have all the tools to do this by yourself, so that everything that remains after these 9 months is your truth. And what is truthful, what is alive, what is eternal is abundance, is joy, is deep, deep bliss and tranquility, is a feeling at home in your body and in this reality, because this is your home. You have created this. And I want you to really feel that. So this 9-month journey is basically the foundation to embody the creatrix frequencies. And for that, you have to feel so at home, right? You have to make this body your home, and you have to make this reality, this planet, your home. And so this is for us as the oracle, as the shamani, as the warrioress, as the lioness, to come together in community and heal all that is distorted. Now, I know this is a really courageous message. Let's heal all that is distorted in 9 months. So I always hold space for miracles, right? We might not be able to eliminate all in 9 months. I mean, for me, this whole journey took 6 years as far, like, of really deep, truthful work. But this will be the foundation you need. And it is a mastermind, because it's not just a one-dimensional course. There will be a module every month that has course-like content, transmissions, meditations, activations, but there will be us coming together once a month, and I call it the Q&A, but it's basically us coming together as the round table, right? And speaking about what happened for each and every woman in the group. And this will be the vital work, because I know that we are all coming together as vital puzzle pieces for each and every single woman. So if you feel the call, it means you are a vital cogwheel. Maybe this is not only for your own healing, but maybe there is a woman that is meant to witness you, that is meant to hear your perspective. So I see this really as a co-creation. And the women that I've worked with are of high caliber in a very profound soul essence sense. Like, the women that I work with are really, really pure, really, really truthful, and they run a high current. Like, they are really deeply connected oracles. They really are. And sometimes all that it takes is just someone else seeing you in that, and you realize all of the artificial, distorted trauma stuff you've been keeping alive in your shield. But once the eyes of truth meet you, you're like, oh, I can let this go now. This woman really sees my true nature. And sometimes that's all that it is that we need to step deeper into our truth. So this is going to be that womb space for us, the 9 month of actually stepping into this. And it's going to be a full light body clearing, meaning we will go into each and every energy wheel, every chakra of the body, to make sure that we create a new foundation, a new architecture for our light body that we can then step into, that is free of distortions, that is in accordance of the divine blueprint, not infiltrated by, let's say, the matrix and the collective trauma. So if you feel that the spot is still open, and not only are the spots still open, but until age 22, this is my massive, massive gift to you. It's what I call the homie hookup prize, right? It's for my fam. So if you want to be there, I know this prize will make it possible for each and every one of you. And so this is my gift for those who've been just supporting this channel from day one and have been diligent in their healing. And I don't want finances to be a reason why someone who's really in it can't be part of this. So until age 22, you have the chance to join this space for the absolute secret launch price. And after that, it will be open until October 10th. So you have massive time to think about it. But if you know it, you know it. So I just had to go in that because I didn't want to forget about this. And these containers are the reason why I'm doing this work. So we can come together and actually move a lot of stuff around. So, let's get into the topic. As you know, in this channel, we are speaking about the Empress energetics. And every single session, every single video, every time we come together to learn how to embody more of the Empress energetic. It's the embodiment of ultimate creatorship. It's the embodiment of truth and purity. And the Empress is, with that, the complete and wholesome embodiment of the oracle. That means every time the Empress speaks, she speaks from her oracle. Every time the Empress moves, she moves from her oracle. The Empress is one with her oracle. That means everything she does is in accordance with nature and accordance with truth. And so the Empress knows that in her sacred relationship, she is meant to lead from her oracle. That is what the embodied Empress truly is. So what is the oracle? The best way I can explain that is the oracle in you, and everyone has that. Every woman, every man has it. Now, I call it the feminine oracle because I see nature as feminine, as nourishing, as life-giving. So the feminine aspect is what is the oracle. But this could be the oracle within man, within woman. This is not gender specific. Your man has his own oracle. You have your oracle. And it's the voice of nature. The oracle within you is the voice of nature. And when you give voice to nature, you embody your oracle. Your oracle is this essence in you that holds truth and purity. It's the space of eternity, of eternal truth. It's the consciousness that is alive without you. It's the space before birth, the consciousness before birth. That's what the oracle is. So essentially, it's the voice of evolution, It's the voice of the planet. It's the power of nature translated through you. The way I see this earth is this beautiful consciousness of nature. And when you are in your oracle, you are in tune with that voice. You are in tune with the very consciousness of the planet itself. You are in truth with the voice and the power of nature itself. That is what your oracle is in essence. And so the oracle is here to evolve us. When we are in truth with the oracle and we speak it, there's a constant evolution. There's a constant purification. It's as alive as breath. It's almost like with every breath, we're breathing in more truth, and we're breathing out everything that is no longer in resonance with this new evolution and this new truth. So how is this playing out in relationships? First of all, in a healthy way of living, you are married to your oracle first. That means that before you ever enter any relationship, your deepest marriage is the marriage to truth and to purity. You are married to the truth of the planet, the truth of nature. You are married to evolution. We could call this spiritual evolution. We could call this ascension or ascension, going deeper. We could call this transcendence. That is what you're married to at first. And the same goes for your counterpart. He's married to truth itself. He is married to nature first. And so when both of that embody this beautiful truth, you come together in a relationship. And with that awareness, it's really easy to uncover distortions, uncover everything that is no longer truthful. But for a lot of us, that looked a little different. For a lot of us, we didn't have that initiation. We didn't remember that divine truth that, hey, before all, this is what we're married to. This is why we're here. This is why we're alive. And this is what we're committed to. So we enter relationships and we bend our truth and we give into distortions and we give into trauma and we loop trauma just to keep the comfort of this lie alive that some of us still hold in the field. Now, the oracle can't do this. And regardless of how much collective trauma and how much distortion and how much just gunk maybe in our field, the oracle will always find a voice through you. So regardless of how unconscious you might have entered a relationship at certain points, the oracle always comes through. And she's the voice that will speak up when something just isn't quite right. So she's the one that will uncover when your man or your partner isn't quite looking at something that is untruthful in his body. Right? When your man is not looking at his trauma. When there's something wonky in his field and he doesn't own it. That's when the oracle comes in. The oracle comes in when truth isn't acknowledged. The oracle comes in when your man might be celebrating himself and he might be working hard and he might be diligent. But the oracle is the one who's like, but I see your true potential. And maybe the outside world perceives you as you giving 110%. But I see what's really going on. There's more. There's more. Right? The oracle is that part in you that will always and constantly invite into growth and invite into deeper truth. So she's the one that is always like, there's more expansion, but there is more here. There's more to explore. There's more to uncover here. She's the one that sees when something is created on unstable foundations. That is the oracle. And I came prepared because I want to make sure that I'm not just losing myself in my feminine flow, but I'm actually really making it tangible for you how your oracle is expressing herself. So the oracle is the truth that does not allow for any spiritual bypassing. The oracle is only interested in truth, and she's interested in the truth of the moment. So she's also the force that can feel when there's a disconnect happening right now. Like whatever this conversation is, maybe it's a conversation that is coming from a superficial state, or maybe an artificial place, or maybe it's a very small talk type of conversation where not much is happening. The oracle is the one that is like, let's bring more depth into this situation. Like, let's break up this tension here. Let's bring more truth into this. Or she's the one that looks at her partner and is like, love, I can feel that there's something bubbling up underneath the surface. And you don't have to be perfect, but can you at least own it? You don't have to heal it. You don't have to know what to do with it right away. But can you own that there is something you haven't been looking at? And it's playing out in our dynamic. I can feel it. It might create distance. It might create a untruthful way of relating. That's the oracle. She will be the one that will push people into growth, right? Or nudge people into growth. However it's needed. Sometimes people need a push. Sometimes people need a very subtle invite, a nudge. That depends, right? The oracle in you is the one that is constantly hyping up your friends and telling them, but love, you can do more. You can do more. I see you. There's more for you. And that's how it comes through in relationships. There is more. So if we could basically create one sentence around the essence of the oracle, it would be, there's more. There's more depth. There's more beauty. There's more truth. That's the oracle. And so in that, just naturally, the oracle creates more intimacy. And intimacy is literally just the byproduct of the oracle at work. It's not her main purpose, right? The main reason why the oracle is working through you is not intimacy. The oracle is working through you as the force, the power of nature, as the one that births truth with every breath. But intimacy with yourself and intimacy in your relationship is the very byproduct of you living your oracle. And so intimacy is the experience of the truth of the moment. I wrote down intimacy is love experienced in truth. But it's essentially just feeling into the moment and feeling what is really there. And that could be with you, with yourself. How do you create intimacy with yourself? Like, do you feel in what's really there? That's the moments when you might experience devastation, that is just so utterly disgusting that all you can do is weep on the floor and cry and scream, but you're in it, right? You're in it. You're not trying to run away from it. You're like, yo, I don't know how to freaking hold this right now, and this is disgusting, but I'm in it. I'm feeling it. Like, whoa, how much pain this heart can take is wild. That's intimacy. That's an intimate moment with yourself because you're honoring the truth of the moment. When you cry and you don't know how much more you can take. And the moment that cry turns almost into a bliss. That's intimacy. When you can witness yourself in the sweetest, purest, childlike joy of, oh my God, I just see a wild animal in my front yard, and your inner child comes out, and there's just so much beauty and joy in that, and you can actually witness yourself and get lost in that. That's intimacy with yourself. And so when you're vocalizing your oracle, when you're living from your oracle, you create intimacy with life. And in that, the natural byproduct is intimacy in your relationship, an intimate relating. That means that the eternal essence in you, what's everlasting in you, is able to witness itself in the other, to witness in the other's eyes. I see something eternal. There's something everlasting here. There's a truth when I look into your eyes that is everlasting and eternal. I see you. I really see you. And my essence can meet your essence. And this is not about being poetic. This is attempting to put something into words that can't be described. But we all had these moments, just these moments of truth with our partner, where we look into his eyes or into her eyes, and there's just nothing but the moment. That's intimacy. There's no mask, there's no personality. It's like the only thing that exists is this moment. That's a natural byproduct of the oracle embodied. Intimacy in itself is the greatest shadow burner. It's the greatest way to allow shadows to burn, to be eliminated, to burn in the fire of truth. Because intimacy cannot be experienced if there is any overlay, any trauma, any shadow working through and attempting to create distance in that moment. Intimacy will reveal that very trauma or that very shadow that is attempting to create distance, that is attempting to create separation. That's why this is such a potent space to hold. And the more a couple is able to live in that intimacy, the easier the transmutation of every distortion, the faster the evolution. Intimacy is a space for evolution. Because again, in intimacy, anything that is traumatized, that is fragmented, that is artificial, that is distorted, is revealed so easily. And so a union, a partnership that can actually hold that secret is masterful at shadow work. And the secret is intimacy. So when there is an intimate relating, this is when you burn all the distortions. That's why There is, to me, no higher spiritual path you can actually walk, because that intimate relating is just quantum shift after quantum shift, because everything that is not in truth will burn. And I can't think of any container that will provide that as much as an intimate, sacred union. And one of the most beautiful ways and easiest ways to detect if both are in their truth is to see if sexual magnetism is alive. Anytime that magnetism, that sexual, that true sexual, not distorted sexual lust, but I'm saying this actual like magnetism for each other. Whenever this is not alive, that's your sign that either one of you is not living in accordance to their nature. That one of you is not living their truth and not expressing their oracle right now. And so that's a very beautiful way. If there is this magnetism, it means both are in flow with nature. And when this is not alive, this is a way for us to detect, okay, something's being suppressed, something's not being expressed, something is not in truth. When we come together in this truly sacred union, we have the possibility to heal on the deepest level imaginable. And we come together as this microcosmos to ripple this energy out into the macrocosmos, into the collective. And if, again, everyone knows what role to play, this is a really beautiful dance. But it can become a hell of a mess if we forgot that very essence of relationships. And so again, in a very healthy dynamic, in a truthful dynamic, the masculine is the protector of nature. And the feminine is the protectress of nature. And so we come together to protect that very essence. We come together to birth more truth. That's the underlying energetic of every single relationship. Regardless of how conscious or unconscious both are, they come together to birth more truth. And so this misconception that relationships are just supposed to be easy, or they're supposed to be this wild, long honeymoon phase, this is just not realistic. The honeymoon phase or the beautiful phase comes when a lot of the dirty work is done. And the first couple years of a relationships are the freaking dirty work. They are the dirty work. This is when the trauma, the distortions come to the surface so they can be purified. So this takes a lot of courage, and this takes very, very strong, takes a strong bond, and it takes very strong, courageous souls. Because what happens is, in a union, we are basically copying and pasting each other's light body. We're making the sacred agreement that, okay, let's become one so I can really clear out everything that is not in truth, any distorted geometries in your light body, any DNA imprints that are absolutely untruthful, any viruses, anything that is a trauma. Let's transmute that together. And by becoming one field, I have access to yours and you have access to mine, which means I can feel whatever is not in truth in your field, and you can feel what is not in truth with mine. That is an absolutely beautiful function and mechanism, but we can also see how that, of course, is immensely devastating if we engage without that knowing. If we have sex with people we barely know, because that's what happens when we physically come together, when we exchange DNA, when we merge in sex, we are copying and pasting each other's light body. So this can be immensely impactful if you're doing this with someone that is not coming together with you to do the work. That's why we have to be the gatekeepers as women. We cannot sleep around. This has nothing to do with moral standpoint. This is truly just energetically and knowing the mechanics of how this works. We cannot go around and simply copy and paste someone's light body we barely know, because our oracle will then want to invite him into deeper truth, right? We will feel and experience the distortions and suffering going on in his field. We will take on the insecurities that are going on in his field. And when we're not masterful with that, we don't know that these thoughts that are all of a sudden looping in our mind, in our field, are not ours. We took this on in order to heal it. But we're not in a committed relationship, so there's nothing to heal for us, because this person is going their ways and we're going our way. That is why we have to be immensely selective with who we are being intimate with in a sexual way. And that is why this relationship is so profound. This sacred union is so profound, because our light bodies become one. Hey, are you still there? My Wi-Fi just shit the bed, but I think I'm back. So the female body has the physical womb, which makes her the gatekeeper. Right? She is the one that decides which consciousness is allowed to remain on this planet and which consciousness is no longer allowed to stay alive here. And in that, we have a really deep access to that voice of nature. The female body has a stronger access to this oracular knowing in this sense. And that's why, as the female, it is our very essence to invite and to activate. We are the one continuously inviting into more growth, into more evolution. And if you are in your nature as the female, as the feminine, you will find that in you. You will really see that you are just continuously scanning and looking for more beauty, right? As you breathe, you are breathing in more truth, more beauty, and you're breathing out everything that is no longer serving. That is your very essence. So you will see addictions and you're going to be like, okay, can we cut this? Like, let's stop this loop. Because in this loop, we're not going to find truth and we're not going to find bliss and joy. Can we stop this? You will look into behaviors and you will be like, hey, I know this has been the way you've been relating maybe most of your life, but it's just no longer in truth. Can we stop this? Can we relate in our nature? And what I've been hearing from a lot of really beautiful, deep women in my surrounding is there's this sense of, I am tired of always being the one activating. I am tired, I'm exhausted of always being the one like bringing more truth and more truth and more truth into this. And now you're not actually tired of bringing more truth or activating. That's your very nature. You will never be tired of this because your very nature is to activate. But if your truth and your activations aren't honored, that's what's exhausted. That is what is tiring. When it feels like your constant invitations, because it's like you're breathing. You're inviting as you breathe. And if your breath, if your invitations are just ignored constantly, it feels like you're suffocating. So it's not actually you activating what's exhausting, but when your activations aren't honored, that is what's tiring. And so if we are in a relationship where this level of evolution isn't met, if the masculine isn't protecting nature the way he should be, and he's not hearing your oracle, he's ignoring your oracle, he's choosing not to hear it, or he's just remaining stuck in his untruthful ways, whether these are addictions, whether these are ways of settling, you will feel exhausted and tired. Because there's this constant like, let's grow, let's grow, let's grow, and there's more. And there's such a fast evolution in you. When you're very much in tune with your oracle, your evolution is just rapid, right? You're just detecting everything that is not in truth. And when we remove that, our evolution and the blossoming of beauty is just so quick. And when there's someone next to you that is, if you're in a sacred relationship and a sacred union, you need that evolution on both ends. Because if that is not happening on both sides, there's no intimacy, there's no truth. So it needs to be reciprocated. And if it's not, it feels like someone is just constantly dragging you down. One of my beautiful women gave this example of it feels like you're dragging a dead horse. And that is why we both need to fulfill our sacred role in this relationship. Again, the feminine in you will never be tired of activating. But it's almost like you're the phone for nature. You're the way that the force of nature, the truth of the planet, can communicate. So your vessel is the phone. And now if the force of nature, the power of the planet wants to come through and is constantly ringing and it's like, hey, there's a message, there's a message, there's a message. And maybe your partner is looking at the phone and is like, why the fuck are you ringing? Like, why are you constantly ringing? Like, can you stop? And he's putting it on silent. That is what's exhausting. Now, if you have a partner that is picking up your phone every time it rings, that's such a beautiful symbiosis, right? Because Mama Earth is calling through you. The power of nature is calling. You're the phone. He picks up. So there's just constantly, you receive the message and he receives the message and you both grow. That's such a beautiful way of relating. And that's your very nature. So you are never actually tired of inviting your man. You are naturally activating. What you're tired of is when your activations are continuously dishonored and not seen as such. When your man isn't honoring that oracle in you, when he isn't honoring this voice of the oracle, truth isn't lived. And this will result in a very shallow way of relating. Because how can you experience deep intimacy without truth? You can't. So let's say your man isn't protecting, or your partner isn't protecting nature and truth. That could come up in so many different ways. If your partner touches you in ways that are not listening to your body, if he touches you without presence, if he touches you just robotically or out of lust, if he enters your body without you being fully ready, he's not protecting nature. He's doing the opposite. Right? Your body is the expression of nature. And so now how can you possibly surrender to a man that is not doing his job in protecting nature? How can you give yourself and surrender to a man that will enter your body without its consent? That doesn't mean your voice has to give consent, because a man that is present and that's in tune will know and will feel when your beautiful flower is calling him in. He will know when your body is inviting him to touch it. That is when our essence can surrender. That is when our masculine is doing its beautiful, or his beautiful job as the protector of nature. That's when our feminine can actually be like, yes, let me just be, because you got this. Let me surrender to you, because I can trust you, because I can trust you will always protect nature. Now, when that isn't in place, there can't be an experience of intimacy and depth, because now your oracle will be louder. So when these situations happen, it's natural that your oracle will speak more fiercely and louder, and your oracle will actually protect you in that sense, because it can feel that you are not truly safe with this man at this present moment. Your oracle will naturally become louder when your man is being complacent. Let's say when he is at a certain space of, well, I'm happy where I am, when he's settling. Now, fuck yeah, be happy where you at. Actually, be joyous where you're at. But there's always more. And so when your partner has this sense of, well, I settled, whether that is settling for a career, settling for a position, job, settling for a certain physical state, settling for a spiritual state, whatever this is, anytime your partner settles for something, the oracle will become louder, because she can feel that this is not in truth. Evolution doesn't ever settle. Evolution is ever expanding. And when your partner settles, something is not in truth, and your oracle will detect that. So that means this is the moment where you will naturally invite him, or you will feel this dissonance. You will feel this turn off, so to speak. And it's not a turn off. It's literally just your oracle signaling you, hey, someone in the field is not in truth. Another way is your oracle will be louder if he keeps addictions alive, if he keeps distortions alive. There will naturally be a turnoff and a distance, or a demagnetization, when he's keeping things alive that are untruthful. And certain things like addictions are. So your oracle will naturally become louder, or you will naturally feel a sense of demagnetization, no sexual arousal, no intimacy in that. Or when he keeps conversations alive that are not in truth. At any time he engages in anything that isn't truthful, if he lives from trauma, if he has artificial conversations, meaning he conversates from a very, like, I don't want to say mind, because there can be a very beautiful intellectual stimulation that is very intimate, but when he's not present, right? When he's speaking to speak, or he's speaking from an artificial space, meaning he's speaking from deep inner discomfort, or he's speaking from a personality, or he's talking to you like his soul is just not in the driver's seat. Anytime that happens, your oracle will naturally become louder to bring in more truth. And if you can't hear how your oracle wants to invite, this will lead to demagnetization in these moments, of you not feeling aroused, of you both not feeling connected. So now, what are some reasons why he might not hear your oracle? Because this isn't only his fault. Right? This is not to blame on your partner or on the masculine. Because his essence really deeply wants to listen to your oracle. His essence feels immensely safe with your oracle. But there are several reasons. And one could be that you entered the relationship not even knowing what your oracle feels like and what your oracle is. Your oracle is literally the spontaneous invitation of the moment, right? That when something happens, there might be an immediate bodily reaction. Nothing you can control. The oracle is not an experience of the mind. It's a bodily experience. Let's say he's doing something and your body all of a sudden feels angry. And there might even be a conversation with the mind of, well, he didn't really do anything. Why am I angry right now? Your oracle is never wrong. So if you actually, instead of denying that, or instead of seeing like, well, maybe I was just angry because I'm just angry, if you actually look deep, you will find something. The oracle always wants to invite into deeper truth. And if there's something that just occurred that made your body angry, it's for a reason. It's because there's more truth that wants to be invited. Something wants to be cleared out of the field. This has nothing to do with him or you. It's nothing personal. It's just that in that moment, your very anger or your very sadness or whatever you felt in the moment was exactly what this moment needed to have more truth be invited to it. But now, one of the reasons why your oracle might not be heard is that you don't even know about it. You don't see your bodily reactions as divine oracle knowing or oracular knowing. You see your bodily reactions maybe as random or just distorted, or it's your hormones, or it's this, or it's that. Now, of course, the oracle comes through in a purified body. That's why I am always speaking about that. Like my whole programs are around how do you purify your body so you're actually able to live your oracle. If you are filled still with addictions or addiction like cravings, if your body is unclean, if you haven't done the actual physical purification work, everything I'm saying right now might be hard for you to implement. I'm speaking about women that are already in a purified vessel. They've done the groundwork, they've done the physical purification work, they've done the fasting, they've done the clearing, they've done the liver cleanses, they've done the intestinal cleanses, they've done the purification work. That's vital for this. But what I'm saying is that if you're not aware that every single moment that presents itself in your body is your oracle inviting into more truth, you are the one that is shutting down the voice, and therefore your oracle can't be heard. If you're not aware that what comes through to you is oracular knowing, it cannot be heard. And next thing is that you have been in very deeply traumatized expressions of this oracle. Think about it like that. This force of nature comes through you, and it will come through you in a bodily reaction. But now, if there is unresolved trauma on top of it, Anytime the force of nature actually just wants you to be present and is bringing through something that is not in truth in the present moment, let's say you just feel a rise of or surge of energy, and there is this pocket of trauma still alive in you. You're looping this trauma of, in the past, maybe other man cheated, or he did this, he was unreliable here, he was unreliable there, and I hated when he did this, and I remember this moment where he maybe talked to this other woman, or whatever, right? All of this that you're still angry about, or I'm super angry what happened here, and he hurt me here. And now this surge of energy comes through that is literally just wanting you to invite more truth in the moment. But now this surge is pushing this trauma up and making it alive again. So now, instead of just speaking about the very present moment, this surge of energy is triggering all of the stuff that happened in the past. So now you're basically bringing back all this old trauma, all this resentment, making it alive in the space again. And now you're, instead of actually just saying, oh, wow, I feel angry right now. I don't know why. Let's explore. Or, damn, what you just said, that was hurtful. Like, why did you say it that way? Or what space were you coming from? Or, damn, I'm sad now. That's an expression of the moment. But now when we have this trauma overlay, you might just get quiet and stomp away. And he's like, what's up? What's going on? Nothing. And then the bomb explodes. And you're like, that fucking time when you did this, or the very first time, and I'm still, this is hurtful. And I hate you for this, and blah, blah, blah. And it comes out in all of these ways. And so now your oracle wasn't actually able to reveal the moment, but the whole trauma came up. And now you're projectile vomiting all of the pain that is unresolved. And now he's in this moment of, here we go again. So if 9 times out of 10, this is what's happening when the force of nature comes through you, you use it as a means to regurgitate and loop old trauma or unresolved trauma, your oracle can't be heard. Because it seems like just this constant like roller coaster of complaints. So for that, you have to resolve the trauma. Is there work you have to do? Absolutely. But this is the difference between allowing your shadow to come up or allowing your intuition to come up. When your shadow comes up, it's looping all of this BS. It's creating more division rather than actually more closeness. When your intuition, when that immediate oracle brought in maybe feelings of anger because there was more closeness to invite into, there was more truth to invite into. So that's an exploration for you. When am I in my shadow expression and when am I in my truth? And you have to learn how to navigate your oracle masterfully so your man can hear you or your partner can hear you. How could your partner hear your oracle if anytime your oracle comes up, your shadows come in and bring in all of this past stuff just to regurgitate the pain over and over again, just to loop it over and over again? So there's a way of masterfully expressing that. Right? There is a moment with like something super subtle. Maybe he didn't open your car door and all of a sudden your body feels like, And that's a way to express that, right? The moment when he doesn't open your car door and you're sitting there and you're like, fuck, I feel numb right now. Why didn't he do that? If you take that moment, you can literally get out of the car, grab him and be like, no, daddy, we're doing that again. And you can get your ass back in the car and you can tell him to open the car and open the car door for you like you're the freaking Empress that you are. And then you can redo this, right? In that moment, you channel that little moment of anger and you're like, no, we're not doing that. You open the car for me. And so the whole thing is now right? This anger came up and it was actually something to resolve. And I'm just giving you that's such a subtle and sweet example. I know there are fiercer examples. I know there are much more hurtful examples. I'm just saying that's a moment. But what the shadow would do is, here we go again. He's not opening the car, or maybe you wouldn't even recognize that this is coming because he's not treating you accordingly. And you just feel the sense of annoyance, or you feel the sense of numbness coming in, or you feel the sense of sadness coming in, or just this feeling dead, feeling not alive, right? And then you go back and sit in your space, and all of these memories come up, and then you use that to bring up the trauma. That's an example of how that would look like. So the masterful ways of expressing that is, of course, expressing it through playfulness, right? But also sometimes being fucking fierce. Maybe sometimes he does need that slap. Sometimes he does need to be brought back. Like, that depends on how you express it. I am very fierce. I am very fiery, and I'm very intense, and I can't really, like, if I really live in my truth, I'm very fucking intense, and I cannot really hide that. If I mask it, I'm numbing myself, and that just doesn't work. So you know how your oracle expresses herself. But again, we can be more masterful in that. And one reason why your oracle isn't heard is maybe because you're not knowing how to invite. Your partner will not listen to demands. Demands kill polarity. Demands demasculate. Rather, he will listen to you when you invite him. So I know that when we can feel the way, and we can feel our oracle coming through so strong, there is this sense of, I know exactly what to do. Right? And we come through in this, you just got to do this and this and this. But that's not how it works. And I've been there, I've done that. But we cannot tell our partner what to do. We have to learn how to invite. Right? It can be so easy to be like, yo, I saw that course and I think you should do that. Or you should go and do that cleanse. Or you should read that book. Or you should go and do this thing. Or you should implement this strategy in your business. Or all of these things. That doesn't work. That's nasty. That's ugly. That's not fun. Right? It's not fun to be told you should do this unless you're in that space. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes that's exactly what the feminine needs, to be told what to do. But with your partner, that doesn't work because the feminine invites. So it's like, oh, wow, I saw this really exciting thing. You might like that. Or I just did that and oh my God, it did wonders for me. You might love that. Right? Invite him. Mention it, but let it be his choice. And I like to give this example with cleaning our room. Remember these times in our childhood when we were actually like about to clean our room and we were excited about it. We're like, yeah, we're doing it. But then your mom or your dad came in and they were like, you got to clean your room now. And this is the moment when there was almost this anger and this is, now I'm not going to do it just out of spite. This is exactly what is happening in our partner when we try to demand. Or he does it and then he's completely demasculizing himself. There's a way to invite. And then when there is actually a true demand, he will take it serious. If you're someone that is always inviting and the oracle is playfully inviting, once there's actually a demand, that will show him, oh damn, shit's really serious here. I better listen. So that's something to learn, and that might be a reason why your oracle can't be heard. It's also, it comes through in very spontaneous expressions, but it just wants to be expressed. So sometimes it's enough when you actually just hear it. You don't have to immediately bring it into the space. Because let's say your partner is in total go mode, that might not be the best way to bring that in. But as long as your oracle is heard in its spontaneous expression, can you write it down? Can you make a voice note for yourself? Or can you just acknowledge it and acknowledge it as something to bring up when the space opens with him? Right? Even I love it. And sometimes it comes through spontaneously, and that's really vital. But there's also a way to master that, like to not bring it up in certain moments where he's in a different modality. That's also maybe a reason why your oracle isn't heard. Maybe you're bringing it up in moments where he can't hear you, but maybe at other times he would have the capacity to actually listen. Now, your oracle does not give a shit about your relationship status. And what I mean by that is, like we established, your oracle is the voice of truth. And you are first and foremost married to the consciousness of nature, the truth, the purity, the planet itself. That's what you're first married to. You're married to truth. And in that, the oracle comes through as truth. And truth doesn't mold itself, right? Truth doesn't try to fit in a construct. And so the oracle doesn't care about your relationship status. Doesn't mean it's not compassionate, it's not a force that cares about you. But that force knows that the more truth is invited, the more you're actually living in true joy. And our human expression has a lot of attachments, whether these are attachments in our relationships that are emotional attachments, financial attachments, socioeconomic attachments, titles that we gave each other that we feel we can't escape now, whatever that might be. But all of that doesn't freaking matter to the voice of truth within you and the actual oracle within you. So what can happen a lot of times is that we ourselves shut down that voice or attempt to shut down this voice in order to fit into this relationship, in order to experience momentary comfort, right? Because our human self does have these attachments at times. And so to make this more comfortable and this experience of this relationship more comfortable, we attempt to lower this voice. We're like, yeah, can we just tone it down just a little bit? Can I not just bend my truth just a little bit here so I can make this fit and make this work? We've all been there, all done that. How did that work out for you? The voice of truth, the voice of nature is fierce, and it takes so much courage to do that because it does not care about your relationship status. And that's why in a healthy way of living, we're married to our truth first. And nothing comes above that. But in this life, a lot of times we've learned that this isn't true. Or we've learned that our truth is not that important. We've learned to shut down our truth. And so we learned how to make ourselves fit into situations we simply do not fucking fit in. And so the same goes for relationships. And now here the thing is that the trauma of the masculine perfectly enables the trauma of the feminine and the other way around. Because we are just stepping into this understanding what our truth really is, there are a lot of dynamics where this isn't fully embodied yet. And so the trauma of the masculine is oftentimes that he misinterprets the voice of truth of the feminine. So he will see that voice of evolution as criticism. He will see it as, well, I'm just never enough for her, or I can just never satisfy her, or whatever I do, it's wrong. Like, I try so hard, and no matter what the fuck I do, she just isn't satisfied. She's just always complaining, right? Like, these things, it can go into this loop of like, whatever I do, she's not satisfied anyway. So what can result out of that is a lot of times our partner might give up or become super defensive, right? I've been there so many times in past relationships, where I could either see that whatever I was saying was no longer received anymore, or just being brushed off, like, yeah, whatever, you always complain, or yeah, whatever, there's always something with you. Or there was the sense of defensiveness, like this immediate, like, no, this isn't true, or whatever, or running away. So there can be that. And now that is exactly what is triggering the feminine trauma, which is, am I asking for too much? Is there something wrong with me? Why is there always something, right? Am I asking for too much? Is what I desire unrealistic? Am I crazy? Right? These things, right? Yeah, I guess I am really critical. All of these things. And that, the worst thing we can do now is to surrender to these thoughts. The worst thing we can do is surrender to his perceived trauma, or his way of perceiving this, and go into this mode of, well, I guess I should be quiet. I guess I shouldn't say anything. Or I guess I should tone it down. I guess I should settle. That's the worst thing you could do. Because now you're numbing yourself. Now you're attempting to shut down the voice of truth for momentary comfort. And in that, if you are attempting to surrender to his trauma in order to keep the peace, in order to keep the harmony, what happens? Where's the sexual arousal going? It's no longer there, right? Because we cannot submit or surrender to a lie. Our oracle won't allow us. Our body will never surrender to a lie. It's not possible. We can only surrender to truth. We can surrender to the protector of nature and him, like, fuck daddy, we can surrender to that. Like, take us, but we can never surrender to a lie. It's not going to work out. So what will happen is a demagnetization, a depolarization, a disrespect, a dishonoring, and now we live in a numb, sexless relationship without any erotic charge. We can't do this. And now this is where depression comes in, because you cannot possibly suppress your oracle. It's not possible. The way you sit with anything is how you sit with everything. So if there is a sense of, oh, I can't express my anger because he takes it personally and he would take it as criticism. Oh, I can't actually feel my sadness right now because he would feel responsible, or he would try to cheer me up, or he would try to like make this about him and then he would get defensive again. I can't really express how sad I really am. Or I can't feel like I can express my wild side or my demanding side or whatever, because it would be too much for him. We are numbing ourselves right now, because the very way you sit with pain is the exact way you sit with pleasure. And if you're numbing all of these expressions because you feel like they're not welcomed, or he would take it personal, or whoever is in your space would take it personal, you're numbing yourself out to orgasmic bliss. It's not possible. Is this a commitment that allows for the evolution I desire? Is my oracle welcome in this space? Even if this partner of yours is immensely conscious and immensely courageous, your oracle is like the bloodhound of trauma and distortions. So your oracle will find the most hidden, fragmented parts in the field. And it takes a conscious partner to do that. Your partner has to, in his highest essence and his truest essence, totally submit and surrender to your oracle. If you have a partner who's consciously doing this work, the moment your oracle will bring forth the deepest, most fragmented wounding, his protector might come in. Even in a super conscious man, his protector might come in and he might get defensive. He might get denying, right? Whatever happens. Now, if you have an unconscious man, that defensiveness might get really freaking nasty, or it might really devalue you or dishonor you. The other thing is the oracle in you will detect shadows. Again, like a freaking huntress, she will detect it. And when these shadows are brought forth, this is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother level of work. When the shadows are brought forth, these shadows are lifeless forms of phantom consciousness, meaning they cannot exist without a host. They cannot exist unless someone is looping this energy or is feeding this energy. So these shadows will do anything they can to not be uncovered. I always say, think about it like a parasitic or a parasite in nature, a parasitic entity. Parasites can only exist if they have a host. So they only exist in our body because we feed them. And without our body, they wouldn't exist. And they have the capacity to literally change our brain, to literally make changes in our frontal lobe. So every behavior of ours is feeding these parasites. That's really real. This is what's happening on a, like, this might not happen on a physical level, but it's happening on a multidimensional energetic level. These shadows will literally create a different behavior in your partner and in you as well. So when it comes to that deep work, it takes consciousness to be able to bring truth into that situation. And when someone is confronted with their shadows, it takes a courageous motherfucker to say, oh my God, yes, you're right. Let me go in there. Is your intensity really met in the way you need it? Is your partner really consciously submitting and surrendering to your oracle? That doesn't mean that he's not going to get defensive. That doesn't mean that his shadows are not going to come out and it's going to be a shit show for a while, right? That's why relationships are the highest form of transmutation. It's hard work. And whoever tells you it's not hasn't done the deep work, the actual deep work. It's not easy. So now it's for you to decide, how realistic is this in this current situation? Do you have a partner that might require a slower pace? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're very much in your truth, if you are oscillating on a high frequency, which happens if you have done lots of years of purification work, and if your oracle is just naturally intense and it's there, you will transform just like this. You will oscillate on such a high speed, right? I was like, this isn't truth, let's transform it. This isn't truth, let's transform it. There's no attachment to specific ways of being, right? You're just like so fast in that transmutation. Does your partner maybe need someone slower? That's a vital question to ask. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Every woman innately has this oracle. But does he need someone that is a little slower? Maybe someone who's a little more watery and less intense, less fiery maybe. Does he need someone that is maybe focused on different things? Maybe someone that is very happy with their current situation and like kind of like living a simpler life in that sense. Maybe they have a different focus. This woman will still invite him, but maybe it's a slower pace, right? Maybe there is a woman that is like, oh, I just want a little family and a house, and that's about it, and I'm happy, right? We don't know. There might be plenty of these women. And it's literally just about speed when it comes to that. Your speed might be too fast for him. Your speed might not give him enough time to process what exactly he needs to process in that moment. Who are we to judge? And there's nothing wrong with that. And maybe what you need is that man that is like, yes, I want to live in my highest potential, and I am incredibly ambitious in my mission. I am living my soul purpose, and I do not want to feed into any distortion. And I need this woman on my side who literally shows me the way with that. Maybe that's the kind of speed you need and you require. And in that, there's nothing wrong with you or with him. You both maybe just need a container where your partner has the similar speed and similar core awareness and values. And your oracle needs for space to express. So this is a valuable question to sit with. I really hope that all of this gave you more strength to be in your oracle, to express it. If there is any exploration, please put it in the comment section. I would so love to hear your experiences with your oracle. If there are any questions, any unclarities, or anything you would love to speak more on, please leave it in the comment section. Please give this video a thumbs up and share this. Like, let's share this content. I feel like a lot more women need to hear that. And if you feel like you need some extra immense support in that journey right now, I do have one spot for one-on-one work opening up in September. My one-on-one work is really deep. It's really intense. It's not just us going on calls, but there's a whole curriculum connected with that. So there's a 12-week course connected to that, basically, that is moving you through each and every stage. So if you feel like you need some extra support in that, I got you. I'm here for it. So let's bring this oracle back to life, because this is the power of nature and it's our innate job. That's why we're alive, to bring forth this voice of nature. I love you so much, and it's so exciting to me to get to explore all of this with you. Like, that is what brings me literally the most joy. I love you. Thank you.